1 Prologue. You are listening at FameTV.info. The wind blows against the window continuously as the clouds blocked the sun's might. Today was not as hot as usual. The tapping sounds of the wind that hit the window woke RYTH up. As RYTH tried to open his eyes, the sound of alarm shocked him as he slammed the alarm with all of his might. "I nearly died from a heart attack, this new alarm is too loud," exclaimed RYTH as he got up from his bed. He went to the bathroom and did his daily routine of washing his face and brushing his teeth. After he is done, he went back to his bedroom and looked at the clock. The time showed that it was still 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I still have at least 4 hours before the game's update is done. I still have time to eat, do my daily exercise and have my bath. The game that he was talking about was that popular new MMORPG game called The Throne. This MMORPG game was the first virtual reality game that allowed a person to experience the realistic typical MMORPG. The differences were, firstly, the players could use their expertise in any kind of martial arts as one of their advantage in the game. As the players could move like they were in real life, they could also block or dodge the attacks from other players with their martial arts skills. For example, if a player was a master in swordsmanship, he had the advantage if he chose the swordman class, or if he encountered another swordman class player in PvP, as they could predict their move or see the flaws of their opponents. RYTH was one of the top-ranked players in this game. Another differences were that you are able to exchange in-game currency with real-life currency. Thus, many people chose to play this game for this reason, and many corporations had built their own guilds in the game as well as had invested heavily into this game. RYTH ate his toast and then went outside for his morning run. Just as he walked to the main street, a woman in her 20s walked past him. Ring, ring, ring. Her phone had already rang 3 times and she still couldn't be able to get it out of her handbag. She was still crossing the road, trying to get her phone when the traffic lights had turned red. RYTH had just turned to look at the woman by chance when he saw the woman walking across the road, while the lights had turned red. He tried to shout a warning to her, but she was too distracted, trying to grab her phone out of her handbag. With her tight skirt and high heels, RYTH doubted that she could be able to run to safety. RYTH could only try to run after her, while shouting, "Hey lady! Watch out!" The woman finally looked up and screamed in shock and fright when she saw a car driving towards in high speed. KYA. She was too shocked to move as her body began to shake uncontrollably. Her leg seems to froze in place and she could only be able to close her eyes and wait for the pain of being hit comes. Just as she was waiting for the pain to come, someone suddenly pushed her from the side. She fell on the other side of the road and she opened her eyes to find a 19 or 20 years old guy still standing in the middle of the road. Beep. The car honked loudly, but it was too late. The guy couldn't avoid the car in time and it had hit him. Crash. KYA. The woman screamed in shock as she covered her mouth with a gasp. The car had hit the guy and his body bounced away from the car. There were shouts everywhere near the accident. Call ambulance. Someone shouted. Somebody, notify the nearest police station. A bystander ran towards the guy's body while some ran towards the car to check up on the driver. The guy is not breathing. What? That poor guy. RYTH opened his eyes and found himself in an unfamiliar room. He tried to move his arms up, but he winced in pain. Arg. Crap. That hurts. Both of his hands were covered in bandages. As he began to regain more of his consciousness, he realized that he can't see anything from his left eye. I can't see with my left eye. He began to panic and tried to move his body. It still hurts like hell. He gritted his teeth as he tries to push himself off the bed. He slowly dragged himself to the mirror, not far from him. Who the hell is this? He asked, as he stared at the unfamiliar face in the mirror. Despite the bandages that covers his left eye and his forehead, he could see that this face is not his real face. Is this me? He looked like a boy, around the age of 17 and 18 years old. And he estimated that his height should be around 173.175 centimeters. This body of his was not considered to be fat nor thin. But he do feel some muscles, which means that this body had done some training. This was a body of someone who does their daily training. Just as he was trying to comprehend everything that had happened to him, his head began to hurt, as if his head had been banging the wall for countless times. Arg! He shouted in pain as he tried to walk back to his bed. But then he fell before he could reach it. Then suddenly, memories and scenes began to play in his mind, like a movie screening. Listen to the full novel at famvetv.info, direct link in the description.